Good morning, everybody. We are Group
Good
3 will
morning.
present about microbiology metabolism. Uh, we are Alinda Simbolon, Pertiwi, Sintaro Sitinja, and Umi Lestari. Next day. The first is there forward. Next day. Next is the table of content. The first is forward. Table of content, chapter 1, introduction. There are background, the purpose of the writing CBR, benefit of CBR, identity of CBR. And then there are chapter 2, summary of book. In there are summary of book 1, 2, and 3. And chapter 3 is discussion. There are advantages and disadvantages of book. And in chapter 4, closing. And the last is bibliography. Next day. In chapter 1 is introduction. The first is rationalizing the importance of CBR. Oftentimes we confuse choosing a reference book for us to read and understand. Sometimes we choose one book, but less satisfying our heart. For example, in terms of language analysis, discussion of metabolism, microorganism. Therefore, the author makes a critical book report this to ease the reader in selecting reference book, particularly in the principal language of metabolism microorganism. And next is the purpose of the writing CBR. The first is to criticize and compare two or more different texts. And the second is to fulfill microbiology assessment. And the third is benefit of CBR. The first is easy in finding material lecture. And second is increase knowledge about the comparison of book. And the last is find out which book have better quality. And next is identity of book. Book 1 is, the title of book 1 is Bacterial Physiology and Metabolism. The author is Byung-Hong Kim and Geoffrey Michael Gatt. The publisher is University Press. The publishing city is Cambridge, New York. And publishing year is 2008. The second book, the title of second book is Essential Microbiology. The author is Stuart Hong. The publisher is John Way and Son in England in 2005. And the title of the third book is Fundamental of Microbiology. The author is Stephen, and the publisher is Life Science in 2008. Next day. In chapter 2, there are summary of book. First is summary of book 1. In book 1, the table of content are the first is introduction of bacterial physiology and metabolism. The second is composition and structure of prokaryotic cell, and next is membrane transport, tricarboxylic acid, biosynthesis and microbial growth, heterotrophic metabolism on substrate, anabolic fermentation, anaerobic respiration, semolitropy, photosynthesis, metabolism regulation, and next is energy, environment, and microbial survival. Next day. In book 1, membranes transport, there are two models which explain solute transport mediated by carrier protein, the mobile carrier model and the pore model. The solute bind the carrier at one side of the membrane and dissociate at the other side according to the mobile carrier model, while the pore model proposes that the carrier protein from absorb across the membrane through which the solute pass. A certain group of antibiotics can make the membrane permeable to ions. These are called ion pores and the useful compounds to assist the study of membrane transport. Next is diffusion. Some solute enter cell by diffusion according to the concentration gradient without energy expenditure. Hydrophobic solute diffuse through the lipid part of the membrane. The other diffuse through carrier protein. The former is called simple diffusion and the latter facilitated diffuse. Facilitated diffuse show different kinetic from that of simple diffusion. The initial diffusion rate is proportional to the concentration gradient in simple diffusion. While facilitated diffusion show a relationship between the diffusion rate and the concentration of the solute similar of the Michaelis Menten kinetic now in enzyme catalysis. And next is active transport and role of electrochemical. Gradient solute transport coupled to energy transduction is divided into primary and secondary transport according to the energy source. Primary transport systems are driven by energy generating metabolism. Primary transport include proton export driven by electron transport in respiration. Next day. Next is metabolic regulation. Biological reactions are catalyzed by enzyme. Metabolism is regulated by control the synthesis of enzymes and their activity. Metabolic regulation through the dynamic interaction between DNA or RNA and the regulatory apparatus employed determine major characteristic of organism. Next is introduction of enzyme. Endocrine and constitutive enzymes. When Escherichia coli is transferred from a glucose medium to a lactose medium, the bacterium synthesis galactosis to hydrolyze the lactose into glucose, and galactose enzyme synthesis in the presence of substrate are referred to a inducive enzyme, and the substrate is termed the inducer. Constitutive enzymes are those enzymes that are produced under all-grow conditions. Inducible enzymes are general though used in catabolism of carbohydrate such as polysaccharide like cellulose starch and another oligosaccharide like lactose, trehalose, and other and minor sugars. Next is enzyme induction. Enzyme induction is regulated at the level of transcription. Lactose include the induce the production of galactose, permase, and transacetylase. And next is repression and attenuation by final metabolic product under any given condition. Microbes reproduce themselves in the most efficient way to have to synthesis cell constitute in the right proportion. From this reason, anabolism should be regulated, just as the enzyme of catabolism are induced by inducers. The final the right proportion. From the reason anabolism should sorry sir, the final product repress the anabolic enzyme. When Escherichia coli grow on the glucose mineral salt medium, glucose flux in tightly controlled to produce the cell constitution in the right proportion. Next day. Next is summary of book 2. We'll continue in my friend Sinta Rapstinja.
Okay, thank you for the time. The next topic will be presented by me, Sinta Rapstinjak. The topic is summary of book 2. This is the table of content of book 2. The first, microbiology, what, why, and how. Second, biochemical principle. 3, cell structure and organization. Fourth, part 2, microbiological nutrition, growth, and metabolism. Fifth, microbial nutrition and qualification. 6, microbial growth. 7, microbial metabolism. And as a track, you can see in this slide. Next. We get some topic, and the first topic, microbial nutrition and qualifications. Many microorganisms are unable to synthesize certain organic compounds necessary for growth and must therefore be provided with them in their growth medium. These are termed growth factors. of which three main groups can be identified: amino acid, purines, and pyrimidines, or required for nucleic acid synthesis and vitamin. Second, nutritional categories. In here, microorganisms can be categorized according to how they obtain their carbon and energy. As we have seen, carbon is the most abundant component of the microbial cells, and most microorganisms obtain their carbon in the form of organic molecules derived directly or indirectly from other organisms. This mode of nutrition is the one that is familiar to us as human or all other animals. All the food we eat is derived as complex organic molecules from plants and other animals, like, and even some representative of their microbial world, such as mushroom. Microorganisms with which obtain their carbon in this way are described as heterotrophs and include all the fungi and protozoan, as well as most types of bacteria. Microorganisms as a group are able to incorporate the carbon from an incredible wide range of organic compounds into cellular material. In fact, there is hardly any such compound occurring in nature cannot be metabolized by some organism or other, explaining in part why microbial life is to be found thriving in the most unlikely habitat. Many synthetic materials can also serve as carbon resource from some microorganisms, which can have considerable economic significance. The third, microbial metabolism. Like all other living things, microorganisms need to acquire energy in order to survive. Energy is required one, to maintain the structural integrity of the cells by repairing any damage to its constituents. Two, to science to synthesize new cellular components such as nucleic acid, polysaccharide, and enzyme. 3. To transport certain substance into the cell from its surrounding. 4. For the cell to grow and multiply. 5. For cellular movement. Next. The next is summary of book 3. The one, catabolic and anabolic reaction. Catabolism is the breakdown of complex organic compounds into simpler ones. These reactions are called catabolic or degradative reactions. Catabolic reactions are generally hydraulic reactions. That means reactions which use water in each which chemical bonds are broken. And they are exergonic, that means produce more energy and they consume. An example of catabolism occurs when cells break down sugar into carbon dioxide and water. The enzyme regulated energy requiring reactions are mostly involved in anabolism, the building of complex organic molecules from simpler ones. These reactions are called anabolic or biosynthetic reaction. Anabolic process often involve dehydration synthetic reaction or reactions that release water, and they are an endergonic, that means consume more energy than they produce. Example of anabolic process are the formations of protein from amino acids, nucleic acids from nucleotide, and polysaccharide from simple sugar. These biosynthetic reactions generate the materials for cell growth. Next, two enzyme. The Concili theory explains how chemical reactions occur and how certain factors affect the rates of those reactions. The basis of collision theory is that all atoms, ions, and molecules are continuously moving and are thus continu- continuously colliding with one others. The energy transferred by the particle in con- collisions can disrupt their electron structure enough to break chemical bonds or form new bonds. Substances that can speed up a chemical reaction without being permanently altered themselves are called catalysts. In living cells, enzymes serve as biological catalysts. As catalysts, enzymes are specific. Each act on a specific substance called the enzyme substrate or substrate when there are two or more reactants, and each catalyst or only one reaction. For example, sucrose, its table sugar, is the substrate of the enzyme sucrase, which catalyzes the hydrolysis of sucrose to glucose and fructose. For example, the enzyme DNA polymerase 1, which participate in the synthesis of DNA, has a turnover number of 15, whereas the enzyme lactate hydrogenase, which move hydrogen atoms from catalytic acid, has a turnover number of 1000. Many enzymes exist in the cell in both active and inactive form. The rate at which enzymes switch between these two forms is determined by the cellular environment. 2. Carbohydrate catabolism. Carbohydrate catabolism, the breakdown of carbohydrate molecules to produce energy, is therefore of great importance in cell metabolism. Glucose is the most common carbohydrate energy source used by cells. Microorganisms can also catabolize various lipids and proteins for energy production. The respiration of glucose typically occurs in three principal states, uh, nam- namely glycolysis, the Krebs cycle, and the electron transport chain or system. Glycolysis is the oxidation of glucose to pyruvic acid with the production of some ATP and energy containing NADH. The Krebs cycle is the oxidation of acetyl CoA or a derivative of pyruvic acid to carbon dioxide with the production of some ATP, energy containing NADH, and another reduced electron carriers FADH2 or the reduced form of flavin-adenine dinucleotide in the electron transport chains or system. Na, NHDA, NADH and FADH2 are exodus, contributing the electrons they have carried from the substance to a cascade of oxidation reactions involving a series of additional electron carriers. Energy from this reaction is used to generate a considerable amount of ATP. In respiration, more of ATP is generated in the third step. The next advantages of book and disadvantages of books will presented by my friend Alenda Simbolon. Apa?
Okay, I will continue. The advantage of books. The linkage between subsection. Book 1. The material in the book subsection is so many and complete. This book is also equipped with image and an example so that it's too easier to understand. In this book, attachment from the content of the section are detected, one and the other material are interconnected and continue. In book 2, the advantage between subsection is complete. This book is also equipped with image and easier to understand. In book 3, uh, correlation between the topic in this book is very good, whereas they explain in the form of picture and link to the next topic so that it can make it easier for readers to understand. And the content of this book. From book 1, this book is up to date because the explored in the book section is very clear and current. In this complete with an example in this book, so also equipped to image and easier to understand. In book 2, the content of book is complete because it's complete with the content, image and explained.
In the third book, the content of this book are accompanied by easy to understand picture, very clear explanation. Next slide. Next slide, deh. And next slide, deh. Next slide, deh. And the weakness of books. From the linkage between sections, the first book, in this section, the material present is many and the picture is uncoloring, so this material, this language is not easy, ordinary. In the second book, in this book, some picture is uncoloring. In the third book, the interrelationship between chapter he have no weakness. And the weakness of the content of the book, the first book, the weakness of this book's profit is classified as non-existent because the material present to that. In the second book, in this book, the letters are too small. In the third book, this book uses scientific language that is difficult, sometimes difficult for readers to understand, so it takes. Next slide, please. And the next slide is presented by Umi Lestari.
Okay, I will going continue this conclusion. Doing a review of the books pictures the based on the be used as a reference of learning research in the microbiology course is the first book where they explains the material very complete, but a lack of colorless picture that make it difficult. More knowledge about the pictures
Okay, finish. Or okay. Terima kasih kepada kelompok 3 sebagai kelompok terakhir yang menjelaskan tentang critical book report dalam hal metabolisme dan genetik ya kalau nggak salah. Baik, sedikit mengulas, terutama ini di video ini akan saya sampaikan tentang replikasi DNA. Jadi replikasi DNA itu lebih kepada bagaimana mengcopy DNA anak induk, jadi nanti menghasilkan untaian DNA yang sama. Jadi komponen utama pada replikasi DNA itu harus ada DNA cetakannya, jadi tadi yang double helix tadi. Kemudian ada molekul deoksiribonukleotida, itu basa purin, pirimidin, dan seterusnya. Kemudian ada enzim, itu ada enzim polimerase, enzim utama yang mengkatalis proses polimerase nukleotida menjadi untaian DNA. Kemudian ada enzim primase, enzim yang mengkatalisis sintesis primer untuk memulai replikasi DNA. Kemudian ada enzim pembuka untaian DNA yang kita sebut nanti enzim helikase, dan enzim yang lain namanya enzim girase. Kemudian ada molekul protein yang menstabilkan untaian DNA yang sudah terbuka, yaitu SSB, single strand binding protein. Yang terakhir itu enzim DNA ligase, yaitu menyambung fragmen-fragmen DNA. Jadi mekanisme secara ringkasnya ada untaian DNA double helix, kemudian pada titik arahnya kan 5 ke 3, itu yang atas, dan di bawahnya kebalikannya. Kemudian replikasi DNA itu awal dari pembelahan sel, dimulai dari titik awal replikasi, namanya ori. Jadi titik awal replikasi DNA itu berada pada satu titik, namanya ori. Dan akan bergerak sepanjang DNA cetakan sampai molekul DNA induk direplikasi. Nah, ketika orinya sudah ketemu, di situ dimulai, maka terbukalah untaian DNA-nya dengan bantuan enzim helikase. Begitu ya. Baru nanti yang arah 53 dilakukan replikasi, kemudian yang di bawah itu muncul nanti fragmen Okazaki karena berlawanan dengan arah 5 ke 3. Karena kebalikannya di bawah kan 3 ke 5. Jadi dibentuk dulu fragmen-fragmen kecil yang kita sebut nanti fragmen Okazaki. Nah, fragmen Okazaki ini nanti akan disatukan oleh enzim ligase. Ketika selesai penyatuan fragmen-fragmen Okazaki oleh enzim ligase, maka selesailah replikasi DNA. Nah, kenapa namanya fragmen Okazaki? Karena penemunya itu orangnya namanya Reiji Okazaki pada tahun 1968. Nah, kenapa harus dibuat fragmen-fragmen? Karena arahnya berlawanan dengan leading strand. Yang 53 di atas, 35 di bawah. Yang 35 itulah yang membentuk fragmen-fragmen Okazaki agar replikasi DNA selesai dengan bantuan enzim ligase. Jadi enzim ligase menyatukan fragmen-fragmen itu. Jadi ada enzim pertama tadi pembuka, helikase, kemudian fragmen tadi disatukan oleh enzim ligase. Dimulai dari mana? Di titik awal replikasi namanya ori. Nah, kemudian karena replikasi itu berlangsung dua arah. Tadi 53 dan 35. Ingat ya, replikasi dua arah 53 dan 35. Yang 53 itu nggak ada masalah. Yang 35 itu yang bukan masalah sebenarnya. Makanya dibentuk fragmen Okazaki. Makanya dua arah. Ingat ya, itu yang perlu diingat. Nanti di buku juga ada istilahnya sintesis secara kontinu, kemudian sintesis secara diskontinu. Secara detailnya nanti boleh dibaca di buku Biologi Molekuler karangan Triwibowo Yuwono. Di situ lengkap protein apa, istilah untuk enzimnya enzim apa, lebih lengkap di situ karena waktu kita sangat terbatas. Misalnya DNA helikase 1, kapan bekerja, DNA helikase 2, protein DNA B, dan seterusnya. Kemudian apa itu enzim DNA girase, itu juga ada di buku tersebut, nanti boleh dibaca sebagai penambah wawasan. Yang terakhir yang mau saya katakan adalah ini pertemuan kita yang terakhir dengan saya, nanti akan dilanjutkan oleh Ibu Endang ya.